something for you.
Sure.
The question came up.
Sure.
I didn't see this because I missed out on one of the folders.
Oh dear.
These two appear to be the same.
That's something you never got brought up.
It's a little
Voucher
different on the
play.
paperwork, but it's for the same sort of thing, so I'm guessing maybe they aren't.
No, I'm thinking you're right. I was just gonna match.
You can credit Trustee Rittenhouse for catching that.
Thank you. The invoice numbers are the same, so one has to be deleted.
Okay. Well, one's already,
Delete it,
So-
delete it will.
they already have enough.
So if you want to put that one back,
Oh,
I will.
that was the good one.
I may have seen that.
That one's good.
It is now, but that one had all the signatures.
Oh, all the signatures? Too late. So we'll pay that one.
All right.
I could put this one in there, but I already drew a line through it.
Got 3 on there, that's all we need.
Okay.
I can put mine on there anytime. And I'll just throw it in there when I'm done.
The one right here.
Yep, gotcha. Just means I gotta do a little more work. I don't know if I can handle the stress.
Thank you very much.
And
I don't have to do anything on this round.
I got it. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Okay. Excitement's building, can't you feel it?
It's like Christmas Eve.
Okay, and now being 7 o'clock, call the meeting of the Board of Trustees for the Village of Dansville to order. If you'd please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Okay. The minutes, you may note, are shy, a couple items. That's because they're not done yet. We'll get those to you for next month. Privilege of the floor, I didn't know I had one, but Kurt's here, so Kurt, you've got the floor.
All right.
Unless somebody objects.
I won't take up too much of your time here. I just wanted to get some feedback of what everyone thought. You know, I'm sure everyone's talked about it or heard things through the community. Any suggestions or complaints or, you know, what you guys thought of this year's Christmas light show. I think everybody knows that I had a little bit of issues, had some things pop up. But I did try my best to fulfill my obligations, and from what I can tell, it was a pretty big success. You know, I did hear Winter in the Village was the busiest it's been in 20 years. I don't know if it was specifically because of the lights, but I'm sure that they helped. I've personally heard a lot of feedback. I've heard a few people say that they'd like a little more traditional, but for the most part, I heard that everybody liked Main Street and, you know, here at the town hall. As far as behind the scenes, everything worked pretty well. There was a few flaws, like during Winter in the Village, they added radio traffic from everybody's phones because they had their Wi-Fi on and didn't, you know, it wasn't linked up, but it's still sending out a radio frequency. I tried uploading a file a little bit too soon and it, you know, started disrupting it, but not a big issue when it actually plays. Just kind of a learning curve. Other than that, I think pretty much went flawless other than a few hiccups here and there. The GFI gave me a little bit of a trouble, you know, on the wet days. They would trip that GFI and I'd have to come back up and reset it, but I think we've got that, you know, figured out as well. So, does anyone have any questions or?
The only thing I heard was actually from second, third hands through Barry Haywood. He had one person approach that said that they loved the lights, thought it was great, and that's pretty much what I've heard from most people. They thought it was great, and some people thought, "Boy, I wish we had this." And the one item though was that, and I don't know why that came up because we've never had it before. Well, we haven't had it in years. During the day, you don't see anything.
Right.
But you didn't see anything before, so I don't know what the complaint is, but there was a suggestion maybe on the poles that don't have the lights, we put wreaths or something, but that's a board decision, not yours to worry
Right,
about.
yeah.
Your side of it, I think, was positive, very positive.
I certainly will work with somebody if they want to put lights on the reeds or something, you know, we can certainly figure that out.
Mhm.
I mean, if it's something you want to do next year, it's obviously not a decision that's going to be made now, not what I need now that I have everything built. But I will come back later in the year and propose the idea again. You guys can do what you got to do, but I just wanted to follow up to make sure that everyone was pleased with what went on. So.
What would because I know the old way was they used to wrap them with white lights, and I'm not sure how well you'd see that in the daytime, but if they had like just white lights, is there a way just to take the lights that are on the poles and just have them become like a white solid light when you're not using them? Just because it would brighten up and illuminate a little bit, you know?
I can change
rather than
them.
just kind of shutting them off, they just kind of like just go white.
I can turn them static on a spiral, so it looks like just a spiral that's, you know, that was doing the candy cane effect. I can stop that effect and change it to any color I want. I mean, I can do that. On direct sunny days, you're not going to see it. You're just not. On any overcast day, you know, I think everyone saw it. You can see the lights. It was just, you know, why run them if nobody was going to see them or whatever. But as far as power consumption, they don't burn anything, so I can leave them on all the time. You know, the biggest burner was the public library. They were all, you know, static lights.
That's
so.
their dime.
Yeah. She didn't care. She was very pleased as well. So.
Yep.
No, I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought it was great. I heard a lot of good positive feedback. There's always going to be negative people out there who don't like it, but I mean, it definitely was different.
Mhm.
It was definitely, I think, attracted people, and I liked it.
And maybe next year we can play it up a little bit more now. We all have a feeling for what it's about.
Yeah, I mean it's.
And we'll get the application into the state in a timely
I
manner.
don't know. It kind of worked out good. I think. You turned it in. It didn't even come back before it was down. But, yeah, we've got a better grasp on everything now that everything's built. I mean, I started in June, you know, building stuff in my garage, and you know, everyone saw me on the roof for the last month, you know, for November, building it all. But now it all just plugs right back in again, and I can focus more on programming, because what it was actually doing out there is only just about a fraction of what it can actually do. I mean, I can have the trees where they talk and interact with one another and talking faces and they sing along, and I just didn't have time to program it all. You know, but and the same for Main Street during winter in the village. I can have that synchronized where people can turn radios on and the lights go on Main Street just for winter in the village. I know that we talked about not doing it, you know, when traffic is driving, but that was one of the complaints they had, was that during the line walk there was long lines and there wasn't much to do, and it was, you know, if the lights and poles are going flashing, you got the music playing, might keep people interested a little bit more, which I didn't have any problem with, you know.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, there is going to be some upkeep. You know, the price will probably still be the same. It depends on tax time. I think I did my numbers right, but we'll see if the accountant says I did my numbers right. So I'll let you know, and I'll submit some sort of a proposal later on in the year if we think that's something that we want to do. But
I mean, if you'd want it before budget time though, so it can be put in the budget, right? Or
Well, if we go with the same amount,
if I went any higher, it wouldn't be over 2,000. It'd be probably an even 2,000.
I mean, it was 1,800 this year, I believe, so we're only talking a couple hundred more, but I guess that depends on how many people contribute to.
Right.
And say you shouldn't have as much to do this year.
No, I am gonna, I use a set of connectors,
Mhm.
and for whatever reason, I don't know if they were cheap or what, but I'm gonna have to replace all those connectors because they corroded terrible. But it's small stuff. It's not pushing, you know, every pixel you saw just on that board was 4,800 pixels. I punched a hole in every point of that and pushed every bulb. I don't have to do that anymore, you know. So.
Well, that turns them on?
No, it was just, they come in big bundles,
Uh-huh.
and you pull them out, and there's strings of 50, and you have to push each bulb into that bag.
Oh, okay.
You know, and,
Well, was it all pre-done for you?
yeah, that was regular snow fence. So I
Ah.
punched the holes and pushed the bulbs.
That's pretty neat stuff.
It worked good. It worked.
Did you have to paint them?
No, it was black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I bought them black. But the only thing I pre-bought was the candy canes, but I still had to put the bulbs in, and they, you know, there's 100 bulbs in each one of those. So 10 candy canes, it's 1,000 bulbs.
I would pull my hair out if I had it.
Well, you
I don't even
can
put
see,
lights on a tree.
I lost a lot this year. So, but I guess I won't take any more of your time.
Well, we
I just
appreciate
wanted
it,
to make
thank
sure
you.
that there wasn't anything big that was a concern. I will get a hold of Scott and try and get them sandbags. I'm hoping he can drive by with a loader. Because climbing up the ladder was terrible trying to clear with all those sandbags. So,
Next year you'll know.
yeah.
I personally spoke with a lot of the store owners on Main Street,
Yeah,
and the comments were very positive
good.
and very supportive of doing it, next year.
Yep. And I think there's going to be a lot more effects with that too. I mean, you could stand on Main Street and it looked like one way, and then you'd sit down by William Street or Liberty Street and look down it, and it's a total different view.
Yeah.
Because those effects run across the entire, all the poles. It's a location effect. But,
I do like the idea of like where the sign would be, maybe
Yeah.
some garland with a couple of things hanging across Main Street. If we could hang something across there, kind of going that being old style, because that's what they did years ago was it was the Santa Claus and the reindeer and all that. That's what hung across
Yeah.
Main Street. And if there was any way to figure out where that stuff went, if they're they're long gone, but
Yeah.
I mean something like that I think would just be, rather than the sign
Yeah.
or whatever, even the sign hanging up part of it, but
yeah.
if we could come up with something where nostalgic, old school there, and then the lights kind of new school,
Yeah.
I think that'd be awesome.
I certainly can work something into it. I mean, if somebody finds whatever, and
Well, I say the big thing is before you get going too far along, we need to get the application into the state so you aren't doing a lot of work for nothing.
yeah. I mean, I think it worked well for, sponsorships.
Mhm.
And people could see. And it, I told the Chamber of Commerce that I can also put messages up there during Winter in the Village. Like if somebody's having a special or something, I can do it right from my phone. I can be sitting at home and do it, and everything will change. So, to try and promote things or activities or something the village or the town is doing, we can put all kinds of messages on there. I mean, it's specials, anything like that.
Okay.
So.
Any other comments, questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll be in
Alright.
touch, I'm sure. I got your email.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, guys.
Yep, take care. Alrighty. Under mayor's comments, I sent everybody out a letter from Jane Petty concerning the enforcement of the sign law, and I checked on a few of her concerns yesterday, and then as it turned out, we had something else pop up that wasn't even considered. I think I mentioned in my email that maybe the best thing to do is, at least for this election, until we do a little more research, is because I know that, I'm pretty sure the new law, once it's in the codification when it's approved, doesn't include any of this to begin with. But, well, the thing, and unfortunately, Tammy got to bear the brunt of being the messenger of bad tidings and my frustration yesterday. But up on Health Street, there were a bunch of for sale signs out. Highland. I keep saying Health. I don't know why. I used to live on both. I used to live on Highland. Now I live on Health. But on up there at the top, right where Leonard comes in, each corner has a for sale sign, and there's one on Leonard down on the same corner lot, but it's down a little further on Leonard. And they're almost on the street. So she comes in and asks me, what am I supposed to do about those? There's no sidewalk, because I guess that's the way the law reads. Is there's a sidewalk, you got to keep it on the other side. And there's none up there. I said, well, keep it in the right of way. So I went down and talked to Scott, and he doesn't know where the right of way is.
Scott's not even here. Yeah, I went and talked to Scott first and said, do you know where the right of ways are on every street? He goes, it's different on every street. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah. So it's just turning into a mess at this point, and I would suggest that we just vote to have a moratorium for the next election until we get the codification in to vote on that. And then I'll just take away everything. This way we'll just say, unless there's a reason that everybody wants the signs up. Right now they're supposed to be on the other side of the sidewalk, whatever that is. And we aren't even sure why the law reads that way, other than the fact that it's either line of sight, which I don't know why they would have had it in the law back in '65, because cars sat a lot higher. And then the other I guess the thing I was thinking of today, well, it's on public property,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, so maybe that's it, but I don't have any problem if it's a residential property, if they're in the curb lawn. You know, it shouldn't be out on the state highway or up on that little triangle down by Mickey D's or anything like that.
Yeah.
But,
Political signs aren't supposed to be on municipal or state, county or state-owned property, anyway, period.
yeah, but for years, it was allowed to be that way. They did do it,
Yeah.
at least within the village. People look the other way. I just think we need to do it the right way if we're going to allow it to happen, and that's just put a moratorium, and then when the new laws come in, or I should say the codification comes in, we approve that, it'll be out anyway. So it's up to the board how you want to handle it. We don't have to vote this month on it.
Let's do away with it. I mean,
Well, we'll be done away with
Yeah,
it, but I think
let's just-
in the interim though, while the law is on the books, we gotta at least put a moratorium on it for, say,
Okay.
6 months.
we use this motion to move forward with that?
Why don't we do that?
I make a motion, we move forward with the moratorium to allow the signs to be on the curb lawn.
Okay.
I'll second it.
I have a second from trustee Nagel. And we'll say, he has to have a period of time, so we'll say 6 months. That's okay with everybody.
Is that for political signs or all temporary signs?
I would say all temporary signs at this point.
I just needed to know.
Because then people are gonna say, well, why can they and can't we? Just not to worry about it.
I think we do it for a year, that way if something happens with codification, then you're covered for any fall.
A year then?
Could be election in the fall.
Yeah,
And then, you just don't know if something gets in a hiccup, we ain't gonna worry about it for 1 year.
okay,
Is that okay?
fine. Any discussion? Further discussion? Not hearing any?
This is, now, just with the conversation I was in a few minutes ago, this is only for the village signs, village, election signs, or?
Well, no, it would apply to any of these temporary signs, like real estate,
Bake sales.
bake sales, whatever.
Roast beef dinners.
Things are there already anyways.
Yeah.
Anybody can use it, so it's for any, like you said, any of
If
them.
they come in to get a temporary sign permit to put up their temporary sign for a special event,
Yeah.
they can, you guys are saying
Sure.
they can put them in the tree lawn or behind the tree lawn, or if there's no tree lawn, like at my house, I don't have a sidewalk, I can put it anywhere in my lawn.
Mhm.
Yep,
So this means we can now put them between the sidewalk and the road.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which for years they allowed it.
It's been going on for years anyway.
Yep. And it's just
It
been
was-
since
It
15
was
that,
October 2015 that Pete, I looked up yesterday for him, that Pete gave me a copy of the old law and said, hey, this law's on the books, and I went, hey, I didn't know, but I'll enforce it, and so since 2015, every time somebody comes in to get a temporary sign permit, I make them sign this paper that says, I read this is the law, it can't be there.
Yeah.
But then for political elections, Jaden came in and got the permit and signed it, but then people just come over to her house and pick up the signs, that each one of those people that got signs didn't read
get
this,
told.
or didn't get told, or didn't get a copy of this like she did. And then they put it in the tree lawn, then I have to send them out a copy of this, and everybody got pissy and said I was the big bad wolf.
but she was doing what she was told, and rightfully so. If we know about it, you can claim ignorance being 65, but we knew about it,
We knew about
and
it.
you just can't arbitrarily say, disobey the law.
Right, it was brought to my attention in
Now we know
2015,
about
and
it.
I've
Yep.
been enforcing it since 2015.
So there's nothing wrong with a moratorium. We can do that and then see where it all stands, and we'll go from there.
hold right on, yep.
But this will take a lot of the, well, you have a double standard. Those people up there, they can have theirs out. Well, unless we survey every street and get the pins in so we know where the right-of-way is, which maybe we should do, but we're not gonna get it done this quickly. So anyway, any further discussion? Trustee Labar?
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse?
Aye.
Trustee Zay?
Aye.
Trustee Nagel?
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye. Thank you very much. Next item is just some comments on hosting the association dinner in February. Megan did some research today, and I think we're leaning now towards the depot. She has a meeting with Julie Acom on Friday morning, Friday afternoon? Morning, to discuss what can be done. I think that's a good place. It's part of the Restore New York program. That Wednesday, they are actually closed, so she seems very interested in doing something. So, and I think it might be a nice opportunity to promote a business as well.
Absolutely.
I did let her know that if they had somebody that wanted to speak for a few minutes as well.
That would be a good idea.
That they could
Yeah,
do
either
that.
her or
Maybe a
Doug.
little
or-
tour of the place, hell, in the back is,
Yeah.
they take people back there and show them
We
kind of how
can
it
certainly
runs.
offer that. And I was, like I say, I still haven't heard back from Mr. Bacon yet as our speaker, but that's certainly part of his doing down there and everything. So that would be a great opportunity to promote economic development as well in the county. So that's how we're leaning right now. We're going to have to lock this down so we can get the word out to all the other folks in the county. But to me, it sounds like a good deal.
Yeah.
Too expensive for them to buy a whole lot, so you won't have to worry about getting drunk. I would hope. No, we never had a problem in any of these before.
We don't have, we're waiting on, we're waiting on, you're gonna check out to see if for sure if we can get that.
It sounded pretty positive from what
She'd
Megan.
really like to do it, so
Yeah.
she's gonna think of some different options, and then we'll sit down and talk and make sure that she understands what we're looking for, and hopefully
So could
they
that
can-
20th possibly change, you think?
No, the date would still be the same. We'll keep it on that date,
All right.
as long as there's
Yeah,
no
they would be
problem.
on the same date.
Yep, it works out because that way then you're not conflicting with people in there
Gotcha.
just to drink or do whatever they want to do and,
Yeah,
making a lot of extra noise.
A little place to ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yep. They're trying to do events down there anyway, so this would be a nice one to have. On a different subject, I got an email from, actually today, from Louise Wadsworth. She's looking for volunteers to sit on a Inspirations Trail committee. It's a public art committee is what it's for in the county. And she was hoping somebody from the board, are there any takers? Don't all jump at once. I've already had this conversation with Trustee Labar.
Sounds like Parks and Recs to me.
It doesn't matter. Provided I'm still mayor, although I said citizen, so I could still do it that way too, so I'll take care of it. I just thought I'd open it up.
I didn't want to upset you.
Far be it from us to play tug of war with the mayor.
Okay, that one is resolved. Moving on to the other one is, if anybody is interested besides me and probably Scott, there's on the 25th of January, there is a New York State Department of Local Government Efficiency. Well, no, it's not actually them. It's Clark Patterson Lee for the county is going to give a talk on, let's see, what in the world is it? A water supply study for the county. They like all of the communities to be represented, so just so you're aware of that. Again, that's the 25th. And I think that is it for that part. There was a couple other things we'll discuss when we go down through the agenda. And with that, we'll move on then to legislative. Myself and the clerk. Anything new on the action list? I'm going to say no.
The only thing was added last week,
Mm-hmm.
was Scott was gonna get quotes on the street
Right.
openings, and he said he did do that,
Okay.
today, so you guys should be receiving that soon, but that was the only thing added.
Did you get any information on the monitor?
Kara with Hurricane is working on it for us,
Okay.
but she said, she wants to pick Joel's brain because he's been here before to try to figure out exactly what he would recommend for setup. I did tell her to quote us for 2 screens.
Okay.
Obviously, we don't have to do that. The 2 different sizes, plus your workstation. And Joel has to come back out again anyway, so he may want to just take a peek
Okay.
before he's been up here a couple of times, I told her, so.
Yep.
He might know off the top of his head, or he might wanna take a peek.
Okay. You have anything else you want to add?
No, thank you.
Okay. Public safety, trustee Zay.
Nothing's changed from my report. As you guys want to know, we still had 317 calls for 2018.
They didn't change.
They haven't changed. So, unless anybody has any questions for me. Nothing.
I don't think there's any difference with anything to change with the ambulance either. The PD, I've mentioned to a couple, I sent out an email earlier today, I don't know if you saw it, that some of you already know, that I did get a response back from the car dealership, and they expect the police cars to be here by the end of next week. So, I probably want to contact, was it 1075?
Good to go then, we're moving forward with the two.
I would think so, unless somebody has
They can
objections.
deliver them. Well, at this point, we gotta have cars. I mean, pretty soon we're gonna be Ubering the calls.
Turbo cans. We want to get some another contract that we might, if we were breaking one and we wanted to break two or three, so we're good to go, I'll move forward with what that expectation.
Yeah. It wasn't the Brian or Ryan guy that called me, it was another guy that called, but same company. And he copied in the other fellow, so I'm assuming everything's good to go. In fact, the email I sent was actually a forward of his message, so if you want to take a look at it. Have any questions, we get back to me.
Are they gonna deliver them right here?
As far as I know.
What they've done in the past.
I mean, if something happens and you need a hand getting them to 1075, let me know. We can figure out my thing. I can help you drive them up, whatever we need to do.
So it could be 2 trips or a caravan, one or the other.
Well,
I think there are enough people.
they're out near like Alba or Albion or whatever.
Yeah, I think they're still in the same shop, but they may have moved, but it's that track.
But either way, I mean, I can go up a morning or afternoon or whatever. I can help if you need assistance.
Yeah, getting them up there, all you need is a driver's license, right? Okay.
I'll help. Whatever you need.
Yeah, whatever it takes. Okay.
I'm
Sorry.
not driving that other one up there.
I always take those. I always drive those.
Tammy, I see Stack's papers over there.
That's the email I sent you that apparently the attachment, it didn't respond back. I sent it to you guys on Tuesday and it didn't bounce back to me until
I got one of them,
Wednesday.
and then you said I'm sending this again. I got the first one.
On Wednesday afternoon, the one I sent out on Tuesday bounced back to me and said it couldn't send it. So on Thursday, I'm like in a mad panic to try to send them to you again, and I scanned it in separate sections, and because it said what I sent you on Tuesday, on Wednesday afternoon,
Too big.
what I sent you on Tuesday, it said it didn't go. So I hope you got something finally.
I got 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got mine.
So that was a quick summary of the,
A quick summary?
yeah. Now, keep in mind the numbers that were in those emails, like the 157 or 159 permits issued this past year. That's town and village combined, because we pay $1,500 to WAGs a year, $1,400 to WAGs a year for that computer system. And they said that's how much it is per municipality. So for the WAGs system to divide out the town from the village, then the town would have to pay that too.
No, that's not a problem with us.
The town won't pay that, they won't. And so the town wanted me to run the town's on one computer system and the village is on another computer system. And back when we got WAGs, I just went to WAGs and said, oh, we're one municipality, and just gave them the whole town of North Dansville, which includes the village. So we just pay one fee, but it means at the end of the year I have to divide them, go through and highlight and look at each one. But as we said before the meeting, I'm in process of those reports right now. The only new update I have from last week is next Friday, I'll be doing a final on 45 Maple Street, and they will be the back good to go then too. The front half's already been good to go, the back half will be done. So I just got that scheduled today. I think there's one, oh, and the car, yay, good news on the car. The code car is back to us. It has a passing inspection, it has an oil change, the tire pressure is now okay. The windshield wipers are new, it has washer fluid, and the dash doesn't sound like it's going to blow up anymore when you turn it on. But we won't have the bill for it. So.
Who did that, who did that work for you?
Dancewell Muffler and Brake.
Okay.
It's taken them a little while. It seemed like every time they fixed one thing, something else broke. The last time I got it back, I was driving over here with it and it was all fine, and all of a sudden something in the dash started making this ticking noise like a loud bomb. I mean, you could even hear it outside the car. And so then I had to take it back over and they had to fix that last thing. So the code car is back safe. You can borrow it now, Charlie, and it even has windshield wipers. So he has to borrow it last week and I'm like, it's not running, but. So code car's back and running. I'm wrapping up the 18-page end of year state report, and by end of next week, 45 Maple Street will be closed out and good to go. I don't have anything new on the horizon. But, you know, normally I hear things this time of year for upcoming for the year. Nobody's contacted the code office or the planning board for anything new coming. It's right now looking like a slow start to the year.
You know, that state report, that's something turned every year.
The state's been requiring it for the last 6 years. Okay. And they have it.
Usually this time of year.
Well, it comes out on the state website. It didn't come out until like 2 days ago on the state website finally. And then they say they want it in by the end of January. We have what's called Code School. I have to do 24 hours of continuing approved education every year. And I always go in March to the Finger Lakes Building Officials Association Conference to get that training in. And the state rule is, we tell you the deadline's the last day of January for the report, but as long as you have it in before March's Code School, you're okay. So.
Well, what exactly is that? What information's on that you have to send to them?
That 18 pages, they want to know how many building permits were issued, how many were closed, and they want them broken down by single-family home, multi-family home, commercial property, industrial property.
Okay.
How many inspections did it take you to go out in the field to inspect on each permit to complete the permit? If you use third-party electrical inspectors to do electric inspections, or if you use third-party for anybody else to do inspections. For any of those state-required inspections, how many fire inspections did you do of residential buildings, of public assemblies, of commercial, and of industrial? And then how many of those buildings do you have all together so they can see how many you got accomplished that you're supposed to do each year, and things like that.
Okay.
Actually, the last question is, and how many hours did it take to complete this report?
Okay.
Too many.
Very good.
So, yeah. And you can all get a copy of that report as soon as I get it done, if you want it.
Good.
Yes?
The social services, it seemed like, and I don't know, if I say it was a week ago, it could have been a year ago. Some time ago, probably measured in years, there seemed like there was some difficulty with social services participating in some of these apartment inspections.
That's not ever improved.
Okay, so there's still different.
They still go ahead and pay rents on apartments that haven't been inspected.
Charlie, they will not
by
inspect
code enforcement.
any apartments.
So would it be the general consensus of the board that if we were able to improve upon that would be welcome to try to get them to comply?
You can try, but they won't.
All right.
And they won't because during whatever administration it was, when we had Mr. Oldfield, Mike Oldfield, and no, the decision went against both the county and the village on that. And since then, they will not get involved in any,
That was 2004.
so that would have been under
So they
Barry.
go ahead and they will pay the rent on apartments
Yep.
that haven't been inspected by me prior to the tenant moving in, even though our law says a tenant cannot move into a residential unit until it's been inspected by me.
Yeah. We had myself, I think Dennis was in on it, the Supervisor Mass, Dr. Alioto from the school district, and let's see, Bill Bacon was involved in that discussion, and I want to say Barry Haywood was there as well. And the gal was in charge of social services out said that they were told never to do that again.
I think this.
Now you can try and see if there's any
I
change.
think this, like Charlie, I think this is serious. I think this stuff needs to be looked into because I think, I mean, we can't let this ride like that, you know. These things need to be inspected before other tenants move into them.
117 Main Street is a prime example of it. Did you, when I say the address, there is, social services will move a tenant in there and be paying for it out of Livingston County Section 8 money. And I only find out about it 2 months after they've moved in. And it's supposed to be per our village law that it's inspected by me before they move in.
According to social services, they do not determine where anybody goes. Those people
But
get their own place and
right,
they pay it.
but here's the thing, but they don't require the tenant, I mean, they don't pick 117 for the people. The people come to them and go, I got an apartment, this is how much I need, and they pay it.
The property owner does have to fill out paperwork to send to them.
But they don't, social services doesn't say, oh, that's in the village of Dansville, let's see your certificate of compliance for your rental inspection before we pay. Which is what they should do.
Absolutely.
What won't do.
That was up fun too, they had to go by the code and
Like
put
a
some
fire
batteries
code
or
and
whatever.
everything else.
Right this minute, there's 11 units in 117 Main Street since I brought it up. There's 11 units in that building and 5 of them have sat empty for more than 3 months now because last month I went through them and told them they could not have any tenants in those 5 units. Those 5 units failed inspection. They were empty. I went in and they failed empty even. I mean, I was like, I thought you said you were working on these. And one of the 2 partners called me this afternoon actually and said, we think we've got all the list of everything on those 5 units you told us last month to fix. If you could go back through them, so I'm going back through them next Wednesday.
Okay.
So, I mean,
It's a little headway.
it's a little headway. It's a little headway. I finally, dragging them into court all this past year has got them so they at least will let them sit empty until I say it's okay.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying. I mean, unfortunately, there's always going to be problems, but we're trying.
Very trying.
A lot of things are right.
And that's on the record.
The Genesee Valley Health Partnership is doing a study of the county that they have to have in by the end of the month. So they're just nailing down different focus groups, and they started with law enforcement this morning. And, I had my commentaries on some of the health of Livingston County is based on housing, inadequate housing. And so we had a bit of a conversation on that. And that was at 9:30, and then I think it's all coincidental that at 10:30 there's an email getting started that goes from social services to probation and ultimately.
Is that the monkey, the survey monkey or whatever?
They're doing some survey thing. It was
I got it too.
It was it was an actual interview with the law enforcement council and a rep from Genesee Valley. So I don't know if one conversation started the other, or if they just started independently. It was good timing if they did start independently. So I'll share this with you tomorrow because they're looking for. It looks like social services is looking for some help, and that address specifically was brought up.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Even if we can't get them to comply completely with the law, which if obviously they can't. And if they've been advised not to, maybe there's some middle ground that we can get more help on.
Middle ground, or as administration's changed, it'd be more compliant, yeah. It was just last month I was on the phone with some University of Buffalo professor for almost an hour that he was hired by Dr. Aliota from the school to come up with what would improve the overall climate, well-being, and level of health and safety of the students of the village of, that go to Dansville Central School. And his first question was, how many rental properties do you have in Dansville? And when I said, about 1,200. And that's just in the village, not in the town or not in the other towns that are in that school district. And he was like, oh, they've got nowhere to go. There's too many rental properties, they'll never improve the. But then there was an hour's worth of questions. So the school is trying, if the school can help sway social services too to bend a little bit.
Okay. Moving on.
Any other questions for code enforcement? Got it on tangent there, sorry. Nope. Okay.
Village courts, I haven't seen anything, any reports from them of late.
Pretty sure we have them, so I have to check and see.
I don't have them in my folder, I know that.
Yeah, no, I believe you. I'm guessing that you don't. But I'm not gonna blame them because I'm pretty sure that they turned them in.
I don't think I've seen an email on it. Usually, you used to get an email from them.
I do that.
Do you do it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anything else from public safety?
Chief?
The only thing I had is the civil service list.
Yep, I got it right here. We just need to act on, I guess, Cole tonight, however we're gonna do it, and then I'll determine what I do with this. Officer Cole had an 85. Yes. Along with another Dansville resident. Is this just a village list?
Yes.
Okay.
There's just 2 people on it?
Yep.
Is it? Just wanna see the second name.
Laszlo. Probably.
Laszlo? Yeah. So, who I know, and he seems to be a pretty decent kid. I mean, I don't know him as far as law enforcement goes, but,
Who, Laz?
yeah.
Oh, real nice guy.
Good guy.
You guys
He'll be
know,
going to the
you would know him better, I guess.
He'll be going to the academy in February.
Yeah. I mean, he's just on the list, that's all I got.
Oh, no, he's going to the academy in February, the day after the Super Bowl. That's when it starts, and 2 others for us.
Okay. Nothing more from public safety. We'll move on to budget, finance, and audit. Trustee Rittenhouse.
I did speak with Megan yesterday and everything seems to be going good. We'll have some budget modifications for next month. But other than that, everything seems on par. She's gonna be meeting with Scott, who's gonna just kind of make sure and go over his stuff here coming up, right? Nothing else on that. We'll go down through budget modifications. Obviously, I said there'll be something set next month. Special billings, there's none in there. Under bills, we have the general. Paid checks 17390, 17391, 17454 through 17464 in the amount of $210,692.96. We audited checks in the amount of $251,308.61. Underwater, we paid checks 1218. We also paid checks 1664 through 1668 in the amount of $245,015.78, and we audited checks in the amount of $436,682.57. Under the sewer, we paid checks 1218 through and also 1456 through 1460 in the amount of $43,586.78, and we audited checks in the amount of $51,700 even. Motion to pay the bills under the general, the water, and the sewer.
I have a motion from Trustee Rittenhouse to pay the general water and sewer bills. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Trustee Zay. Discussion, comment? Not hearing any. Trustee Labar?
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse?
Aye.
Trustee Zay?
Aye.
Trustee Nagel?
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye. Thank you.
There was no abandoned bond payments. And under MedX billing accounts, Livingston County EMS, $1,125. There was no patient reimbursements. MedX invoice 2009-1 in the amount of $1,664. the Village of Dansville payment of $11,241.66, and a payment for the Dansville ambulance, excuse me, in the amount of $13,739.80. Motion to pay the MedX billing account payments.
Okay, we have a motion from trustee Rittenhouse to pay the MedX billing account payments. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from trustee Nagel. Discussion. Okay, trustee Labar.
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse.
Aye.
Trustee Zay.
Aye.
Trustee Nagel.
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye. Public Works. Water and Sewer.
Okay,
Trustee Nagel.
yes, I talked with Scott this week. I guess the biggest thing he wanted, he couldn't make it tonight, obviously, but Maple Street pump station needs to be rebuilt. Okay, and Greg from MRB sent this bid for rebuilding it. And to upgrade the plans, which Scott's already got them down there and saw them, was $6,000 to update the bidding documents and the specs to bidding documents for $6,000, I thought it was. And the bidding itself was $3,000. And then, of course, there's a construction administrator, he said, and construction observation. And he said in parentheses, which is nothing but babysitters to watch over somebody that's building it. The total would probably be close to around $60,000 if we hired them to do it. The MRB group or bid it out, not to have MRB bid it out, okay. Scott says they could probably do it themselves for around $30,000. But he also says next year is booked right up solid as far as getting work done. Do we want to fit this into the schedule as how, you know, or hire it done for another extra 30 and let somebody else do it? And there again, we're not getting something else done that we need to get done. Doesn't need to be just something to talk about for a little bit, you know, and to see what's going on. But he just wanted to let everybody know that it had to be done, and that's the monies, and probably about 6 weeks' time. As far as that goes, okay. And this is, remember we talked about Scott getting a credit card, when we authorized Scott to get a credit card one time, so he could get incidental things, you know, like things that he doesn't have, go someplace that don't have an account or something like that, you go buy it with a credit card, something like that. We authorized it anyway. Well, anyway, he hasn't got it yet. Because there's a reason he didn't get it, because he says the Five Star Bank required 2 years company financials, including balance sheet, income statements, and terms, you know, before they had authorized the credit card to Scott. So, and so what he's getting at here is on this next one is he's got a bill here that he, for aluminum pipe. This is for the Clay Street, the bridge or the sidewalk. There's railing and stuff he's building down there for that. Okay, and he needs a piece of aluminum pipe elbow, 90-degree, 1.25" type material, and that piece of pipe elbow comes to $269.60, and the freight's going to be $20, or a total of $289.60. And he needs a board approval tonight so he can order the stuff tomorrow and they can get working on it. But that's the reason he said if he had the credit card, which he didn't go ahead and follow through it because he didn't have that information to get it, he said that he would be able to go get that type of stuff if he had the credit card to go buy it with. So now he says I need a board approval for the $289.60. And that's all he had for this week.
He doesn't have $200 and some in his budget?
No, he probably just needs it paid now, and he didn't get it in time for the bills.
I was gonna say, we spent more than that on a lot of other things.
Yeah, so that's all. He needs a check now so that he can get it. And Five Star Bank is working with me on the financials Bert reached out to me about a week ago, I think. I sent him some stuff and I sent him whatever else he needs.
Can I make a motion, we go ahead and pay that, write the check or whatever.
Yeah,
for
and
the
I just
amount
need the invoice if you have, or whatever Scott gave
Yeah.
you on that, so I can
Yeah.
cut a check for him.
I make a motion, we go ahead and take care of that.
I have a motion from trustee Rittenhouse to pay the, what was it,
289.60.
289.
$289.60 for this pipe.
Like double.
Second.
I have a second from trustee Zay. Discussion? Okay, not hearing any. Trustee Nagel?
Aye.
Trustee Zay?
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse?
Aye.
Trustee Labar?
Aye.
Mayor's an aye. Okay.
I've never personally been down to this pump station, so I don't,
Pump station's right down there, right,
top block, he says like.
it's right along where the old railroad bed runs.
Okay, all
And
right.
it's on the right-hand side there where Henty's used to be.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know where it is now.
Yeah. It's a big, deep hole.
Yeah.
Very deep.
I don't wanna see it.
It's directly across the street from the skipped flooring sign
Okay.
in the Rogers and Timber parking lot, literally, in line up.
For some reason, I guess they said that needs to be,
Yeah, I forget what it was.
Talked about that before.
Yeah,
okay.
there's some problems with it.
So, you said we'd talk about
Yes,
it.
I think the pump has to be replaced. It's part of the problem, but the way that's configured in there, with a new pump and everything, it wouldn't work right. They say it's a big hole and it's got different levels on it. It's quite a monster.
If MRB does it, it's gonna be $60,000 for them to put all this together and send it out to bid,
Right,
and then to babysit whoever does it.
right.
But Scott's saying he can do the project for
With
$30,000.
his men, yeah, for probably 30,000. I think he said upwards of probably six weeks probably to.
I'd like to talk with him a little more before we get into that one.
Oh yeah.
But you know what I mean, but he said basically, I just want you guys to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because we do have a full book for him for this year, you know, and, he was concerned whether, you know, he wanted to take that on or what.
Probably not.
Or send
We're
it
just gonna
over.
get further behind if we do.
Month and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what Scott has for us, and that's all I have for
Okay.
water and sewer.
Okay, thank you. How about the streets, trustee Labar?
Well, Scott didn't bring anything to my attention since we last met, so unless you have something there.
No, he hasn't brought anything to mind.
The new Sunnyside street sign looks fabulous. He got it up this past month. It now is spelled properly, and I wanted to thank Scott tonight. I didn't know he was going to be here. I wanted to thank him publicly. It's been spelled wrong for my entire lifetime.
Now it's more fun.
And now it's spelled right. I'm happy.
Streets, sometime we gotta get those new signs up too for the extensions that we put up.
It hasn't been approved yet.
That has to go through paperwork.
Yeah, it's gotta be approved by the county first.
Oh, so there's still a little stuff there yet.
Yeah. Once that's done, we will then have an appropriate time for actually dedicating those streets.
That's a 911 thing.
They're deeply involved in that, yes.
That's where it kinda started.
Yeah.
Western from there,
Mhm.
and then the mayor come up with a couple of nice.
Okay, although I have Claire Barton Statute Committee update, they're listed under Parks and Rec, there really isn't any, so I'll skip down to technology, and I was playing around with the app today, and it seems to be working better. I know OnCell was working on it, and I may have given you a bum scoop on how to get to it. I think it's just, it wasn't the Dansville walking tour, it was, I remember now, what was that? You remember?
Village of Dansville.
Village of Dansville, that was it.
My wife actually got it on her iPhone,
Mm-hmm.
but then it came up above jumble on there. It's like 2 or 3 different people talking, and
Well, that's been the
she
problem.
couldn't get it to shut off after it got going. I said,
Well, then they haven't fixed it yet. 'Cause
And I couldn't get it on my drive.
I just brought mine up. And we'll go to home. And go to stop 1. Just church bells.
The Ansville Historical Tour on sale?
It may have it down as that.
To Dansville's Historic District. Your first
It'd
stop
be
on the
nice to
tour
get
is
that
St.
monitor
Paul's
up in here
Lutheran
and
Church,
put that on.
21 Clara Barton Street. A rift in St.
There. So anyway, it works, but it
At the
isn't.
top, so you got the.
That's it.
Alright, I got it ready to go. It says pending download. Get some Wi-Fi.
So you can play with it, see if you have the same problems. I say last week I had problems with it and they were working on it. And so with that, we will then move on to unfinished business. And that was the agreement with the county on the use of equipment, which I don't have a copy here. Scott has it. I don't know if you want to go ahead.
He said it was pretty much the same thing
Yeah,
for all the
it is.
communities. Make a motion, we move forward with
All right,
the
have a-
intermunicipal agreement with the county, if that's all right.
All righty, we have a motion from trustee Rittenhouse to approve the intermunicipal agreement with the county. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from trustee LeVar. Discussion. Not hearing any. Trustee Nagel?
Aye.
Trustee Zay?
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse?
Aye.
Trustee LeVar?
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye. Going down to new business, we have a grant application for Carolyn Mapes, 31 Clinton Street. We need to discuss and vote on it. Any things that anybody should know? It's just a standard application.
Just standard, yeah.
Yep.
Motion, we move forward with the home grant application for Carolyn Mapes at 31 Clinton Street.
All right, we have a motion from trustee Rittenhouse to approve the application, and I believe we have a second from trustee Nagel.
Yep.
Discussion? Okay, trustee LeVar?
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse?
Aye.
Trustee Zay?
Aye.
Trustee Nagel?
Aye.
Next item is a request from the, I think it's the Sunshine Tournament is probably the name of this, but it's an annual Rotary Camp softball tourney. It's not sponsored by Rotary Club. It's another group in the village that does it. It's August 9th through 11th. Other than that, I really don't have a lot. Do you have any more to add to this? You're the one that got the request,
Yeah,
right?
it's the same contact, Chris Mitchell, that's been before the board before.
Mm-hmm.
I think, have they done it for 3 years? They're out of like, I think, aren't those the ones that are out of like, Cornell?
No, that was a different one.
Was that a different
Yeah,
girl?
that guy that came out of there,
Yeah.
the one that was overnight, that was the violence, what was it? The
Oh, okay,
so I don't
Chances
know.
and Changes
That
tournament.
was from Hornell or something, wasn't it? Yeah.
This is a different one. I know that they've ran this tournament for a while.
Mhm.
I just don't recall us ever approving it here. It was something where they worked it out with the
I thought this was
softball
the one
leagues.
that we had to approve.
Yeah, that was a different one. That was a
Yeah.
Chances
Okay.
and Changes, or that was something out of Hornell. They were changing
Okay.
venue.
Yeah.
This one, like I said, they've done before, but they've always ran it in
It's really just
conjunction
something they
with-
have to work out with the committee on scheduling.
Okay.
So we can, I mean, we can approve it if you want, or we can just,
Well, I'm wondering if they've had any falling out, so they're going over the other.
Well, yeah, if they had to work it out with them in the past, we may want to say,
I say we hold off and wait until after you have your meeting about park use.
Right.
That's
Have
what I
them
was just
come to
gonna
that.
say.
Maybe if they come to
Better
that
find out,
meeting,
because it might
if there's
not
an
even be
issue
available.
after that, then we can address it, but this isn't the one that we approved last
no,
before.
no.
oh, okay,
When's the park meeting?
we haven't scheduled it yet.
Okay, I just wondering if they have to, if they're under some deadline to commit themselves to a location.
Right.
so-
Just check with her.
Right, well, we'll call them,
Mhm.
ask them, well, we can schedule the meeting right away, but we could also just throw them a call, and then whoever they would typically work it out with, because they want the hardball, the men's softball, and the Cinderella softball field. So whoever they would normally work it out with, we have a list, we can always just.
Yeah, that's where I think that one should be taken care of.
Okay.
The last guy came in
I
here, 'cause
thought
it was
this
that
was a big
nocturnal one
one.
that went around the clock, so they were worried about the lights being on at night,
Mm-hmm.
and that was
Okay.
why it kinda came in front of us.
Okay.
Okay, so that one is basically tabled. We'll go on and discuss and vote on changes to the rental property rehab grant program. Did everybody get a chance to read that information? Any questions questions about it?
I don't have any problem moving like some of that stuff around to make it so that it's more attractive, 75-25, or, I know that, you had brought up some different things, and I have no issue moving forward with those. To make it more attractive, to see if they'd jump on those.
You want to make the motion then to approve the changes?
I don't know 100% know every change, but if there's a list of changes that were provided, then I will make that motion to move forward with those changes.
Do you want me to tell you the changes?
No, do you have a list of changes?
She does.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion that the list that was provided to us, or the list, I couldn't go through them line by line, but as provided, I make a motion.
We have a motion from trustee Rittenhouse to approve the changes to the rental program
As set forth.
as set forth. And do we have a second?
Second.
Second from trustee Zay. Discussion? Trustee Nagel?
Right.
Trustee Zay?
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse?
Aye.
Trustee Labar?
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye. Thank you very much. And last but not least is discuss and vote on hiring Officer Cole as a full-time officer. And as I said, we do have the paperwork here from county, certifications of eligibles for police officer. Does the chief want to comment on that?
He's doing what's expected of him. So, he's doing as discussed, doing as he said he would. So, I've got no complaints. He's a good young man, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Any board have any questions of the chief? Any comments you want to make yourselves? He's what, 1 year probation, right? After we approve it.
Right.
Mhm.
Make a motion, we move forward with the hiring of Officer Cole as a full-time officer for the Dansville Police Department.
Okay, we have a motion from trustee Rittenhouse to approve Officer Cole as a full-time officer with the Dansville Police Department. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second from trustee Nagel. Discussion. Hey, trustee Labar?
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse?
Aye.
Trustee Zay?
Aye.
Trustee Nagel?
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye. I guess he's on board now.
Be very
Ooh,
happy.
yeah. Tell him to behave himself.
You got a new card, right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Tell him to be
Soon.
tell him to be very ginger with the equipment we have at this present time. Which I'm sure he is.
Yeah. Okay, I'll ask, but I'm sure we don't have any additions to the action list. And any community comments? And it's 8 o'clock.
I would like to I'd like to go into executive session to discuss the that ordeal that we talked about beforehand, so the whole board's brought up to date.
Okay.
If
Yep.
that's a
yes, to
I think
discuss
that would be an executive session matter.
Personnel work history issue.
Yes, sir.
All right, I have a motion from trustee Rittenhouse. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from trustee Zay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I don't think there's going to be any decision coming out of this, so everybody, you're more than welcome to take off. It shouldn't last long, I wouldn't think either.
No.
See ya.
Have a good evening. Take care of that lake.
Yeah. Take care, Blaine.
Yeah, Tammy.
Chief, just
I'll sign this all off tomorrow.
Officer
Make
Cole
it.
know, we said congratulations and welcome aboard. Full time.
When's he on? Is he on tomorrow?
Oh, what's tomorrow?